I'm new. I'm the new guy. I just got my gun and I want to go to the range and not look silly. I want to be safe. I want to do this all right. I'm your new guy. Help. What's up, warriors? This is Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training, here to share with you some warrior skills and drills that anyone can learn and everyone should know. If you're new to the channel, welcome and thanks for stopping by. If you already follow us on social media and that's how you found your way over to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button, and YouTube will let you know when the next video drops, so you can get all sorts of cool content from here as well. All right, warriors, so we got a few different videos up by now on Glock for beginners and fundamentals of marksmanship and stuff like that. And the next thing that I cover when I teach my beginners is how to reload your firearm. And I don't mean reload the bullets, but I mean reload the firearm itself. Now, there's a couple of challenges that people typically run into when they are learning how to make their firearm safe and empty, or when they're learning how to change a magazine. And I have a video up already on addressing those things, so check that out first. We're going to go over how to reload your firearm. Not reload the bullets, reload the gun. The gun goes empty. How do I get, magazine off the bench, put it in the gun, and get back to shooting? There are all different types of reloads. There are emergency reloads and tactical reloads and all that stuff, which we'll cover in later videos. This isn't for the concealed carry community, or my law enforcement students and colleagues and stuff like that out there. This is for the hey man, I'm new. I'm the new guy. I just got my gun and I want to go to the range and not look silly. I want to be safe. I want to do this all right. I'm your new guy. Help. So for my white belts, my beginners out there, this is for you. All right, so on the bench, I have my eye protection and ear protection for when we go live. I have 3 empty magazines because we're doing reloading. You could do it with 1 or 2 magazines, with at least 2 magazines, but I have 3 just because I'm doing a few different videos and a few different things today. My firearm is on the bench. It is safe and empty. Slide is locked to the rear with the ejection port facing up so that anybody walking by can see empty magazines. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine well, safe and empty. Muzzle pointed down range, ejection port facing up, good to go. So whether you have a Glock or a SIG or a Smith & Wesson or Beretta or whatever, hey man, when the slide locks to the rear, you're shooting, and all of a sudden, bang, and then this part of the gun locks back. This is when I usually get, students, and they go to shoot again, nothing happens. They kind of look at me like, hey, what do I do? Or they look at the gun like, what do I do? So here's what you do. All right, so I'm at the range and I'm shooting. Bang, bang, bang. And now all of a sudden I see this part of the gun looks, something's up. Doesn't look right. Or I try to pull the trigger again and it nothing happens. So instead of looking around or waving the gun around, I just drop it a little, tilt it a little, look in, empty, empty. I let go with my support hand. I keep the gun pointed in a safe direction with my finger off the trigger. I rotate it so I could get my thumb to actuate the magazine catch to drop the magazine. Without reaching in front of the gun, I reach for my next magazine, whether it's on my person or on the bench. I pick it up where I use my index finger to feel the point of the bullet, the front of the bullet, and then I bring it up as if I'm going to point into the magazine well. I insert the magazine, upward pressure till it clicks, reach over the top. I'm a monkey grip guy. I'll explain the difference in a moment. Rack it, proper grip, sights, and continue to fire. In other videos, you hear me talk about monkey grip versus lobster claw. In martial arts, I'm a martial arts instructor first and foremost, but we refer to monkey grip, and that's when you got to grab something like without using your thumb. If you glued your thumb to the side of your hand and you grab like this, versus when you're going to be kind of like grabbing at something, and we call that lobster claw, for lack of better terms. And if you are a monkey grip person, you will feed the magazine, reach over the top, the heel of your palm against one side of the slide, your fingers are on the other side of the slide. Again, my finger is off the trigger, and all of my flesh is outside of this line. Either this hand, it's above on the slide itself. This hand, it's below that line on the frame of the gun. So I feed it, grab it, rack it. If you are a lobster claw person, then your gun runs dry, your slide is locked to the rear. You take it. Again, I do it with my finger on the point of the bullet. Insert. Roll the gun over. Grab the frame. Rack it. Grip. Stance. And re-engage. Again, shooting and you want to reload. I have empty magazine. Shooting, shooting, shooting. Slide lock to the rear. Keep the muzzle pointed down range. Bring the gun to your workspace. Rotate your hand with your finger off the trigger. Drop your empty magazine. Grab your fresh magazine. Point. Once it's in, open. Slide upper pressure till it clicks. Rack it. Point it, aim it, shoot it. Pro tip, once this makes sense and you want to do it a little bit more correctly, I want to always do this so that I could keep my eyes on the threat, right? So I don't want to bring my gun down and start doing this and have my head buried in here when there's a bad guy over there, right? So, and I also don't want to try and, do one of these things. So the way you're supposed to do it is you kind of like bring your gun to you. So without dropping it down, I bring it close so that I could see in and still point it down range and I could still see the threat. I could drop it. I could see what I'm doing. Get back on. Bang, 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 bang. Empty. Drop your magazine. Bring it into your workspace. Rack it. Aim, fire. Bang, 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 bang. Goes empty. Slide is locked to the rear. Bring it to my workspace. Take my magazine. Insert. Lobster claw. Grab. And back on target. All right, so everything we just did was all, safe and empty, no live ammunition present, and stuff that you could practice at home. Even when you're practicing at home, always remember, your basic rules of firearm safety. Use a table or a chair or a bench or something and designate as, make like you're at the range. And, this is the bench, that's down range, and you're going to stand on this side and do everything exactly as you do it at the range. So you're also developing good range etiquette at the same time. What we're going to do now is I'm going to put on my eyes and ears, load a few magazines, and we'll go hot. You take a look at it and you see how it's supposed to look. Hopefully I do a good job. All right, so understand that you're practicing your fundamentals. The fundamentals right now, if I'm practicing just how to reload, then I don't need to load 17 rounds into each magazine. I just need a couple of rounds so I could fire a couple of rounds, see what happens when the gun runs dry, and then practice the muscle memory of what to do on a reload. So, basic. Again, I started with the safe and empty firearm. I have 3 magazines in front of me. I only put a couple rounds in each. Great for conserving ammunition, especially when they're as expensive as they are right now and it's as hard to come by as it is right now. So all I do is I keep my magazines close to the end of the bench so they're close to me. They're in my workspace. Pick up my firearm, load, rack, aim, slide locks to the rear. I look, I check, I bring it into my workspace. I roll my hand around, again, keeping the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. I have a good grip, good control with only one hand. I get to where I could access that button, drop the magazine, take a fresh magazine. With my finger on the front of the bullet, I'm keeping my eyes on the target and the front of the gun. Bring it into my workspace till it clicks over the top. Rack, aim. Goes empty, slide locks to the rear. Bring it to my workspace, check. Drop the magazine, pick up a fresh magazine. Insert till it clicks. Hand rolls over the top, never going in front of the gun. Rack it, aim. I'm out of magazines, I'm out of ammo. Drop my magazine to the deck, inspect. Visually and manually inspect to make sure I have a safe and empty firearm. Look away, double check, visually and manually inspect to make sure I have a safe and empty firearm. Place your weapon on the bench. Step away, end of exercise. All right, same exercise for my lobster claws. Again, I step up to the bench, safe and empty firearm. I get my stance, get my grip, I pick up my firearm. Again, all my magazines are behind, so I'm never doing this, or I'm reaching in front of my gun for anything, okay? So I'm gonna pick up my firearm, load, rotate the hand, lobster claw, rack, grip, aim, fire. Slide locks to the rear, bring it to my workspace. So again, I see the threat, I see the front of my gun, I see my empty magazine well, I drop my magazine, load till it clicks, rotate my hand, lobster claw, rack, grip, aim, fire. Slide locks to the rear, bring it to my workspace, inspect. I can still see the threat, still see the front of my gun, see that I'm empty. Rotate, gun pointing in the safe direction. Take my fresh magazine, insert till it clicks. Rotate the gun, reach over, again, never reaching in front of the firearm. Rack it, aim. Slide locks to the rear, check. Empty, empty, no more magazines. I drop my magazine. I make sure I inspect manually and visually and physically. Look away again. Check, check, safe and empty. Place your weapon on the bench. Slide lock to the rear, ejection port facing up, muzzle pointed in the safe direction. Step away. End of exercise. Again, if you're doing this at home or at the range or anywhere you're going to be doing like dry fire exercises or dummy round exercises or no live fire exercises, just make sure that you're doing everything as safe as you can, that all your live ammunition is really far away and there's no chance for any accident to happen. If you're using dummy rounds, double, triple, quadruple check that there's only dummy rounds, that there's no live ammunition present. If before you do anything, you always make sure that you know the status of your firearm. You want to lock the slide to the rear and check and double check and triple check that you're using a safe and empty firearm. You double check, triple check all your magazines. Just safety, 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 redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. Remember that firearm safety starts with you. Well, if you made it this far and you like what I'm teaching and preaching, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and like this video. If you're loving it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you gotta have it, make sure you hit that bell notification button so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. If you're really digging it and you want more, you can find us on all social media platforms at 5 Elements Tactical. That's all I got for now, warriors. So until our paths cross again, pray for the best, prepare for the rest. I'm Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training. Thanks for watching.